Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about fixed signs dominant in a natal chart. Now, when I'm talking about the fixed signs being dominant, most of you know I'm referring to Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, and Scorpio. Now, and as far as the influences, I'm talking about the 10 planets, the ascendant and midheaven, and if somebody has the majority of fixed signs, their influences in fixed signs, now this could indicate somebody that is very loyal and steadfast, persevering, persistent, tenacious, and somebody that has a lot of grit and determination and resiliency. However, on the negative side, they could also be intractable, very inflexible, immutable. They may be domineering, maybe to some degree in relationships. They may be less likely to make the compromises with people they know, with their friends and or acquaintances. These people may have very strong strength of character. They often don't give up easily. They strive to accomplish things and often will see tasks and assignments through the bitter end. Now, they're not always about initiative and enterprise, people that have fixed signs dominant in their natal chart, but they do have strong follow-through and will finish things often despite maybe not necessarily starting things very early. They're very strong finishers, right? Fixed signs accomplish things often through methodical, dogged effort. It's something where they're not the kind of people that are going to start necessarily a number of projects simultaneously and then decide, well, I'm not going to finish them. I got tired, I didn't feel like doing it. They often have kind of like the no excuses philosophy as far as this goes. People with strong influence of fixed signs in their charts, they may be very dogmatic and rigid. They might be very set with their philosophies, their belief systems. They often are very unwavering as far as their opinions go. On the negative side, they may be somewhat opinionated. Fixed signs are just about really just staying with things despite adverse circumstances. And people that have a dominant fixed chart, they often, even through many obstacles or obstructions, they really have that strong ability to stick with things through thick and thin. Fixed signs generally are less likely as far as any kind of mood swings, as far as being maybe changeable or fickle. The moods are generally very stable and very consistent. And believe the fixed, it's interesting that if you look at the seasons start with cardinal signs. They start with Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and the mutable signs are the ones that kind of they're at the tail end, that last third of the seasons. But the fixed signs are scrunched right between them, and I guess they're fixed in that position. They're set, and so to speak. I mean, all signs are set in their general position, but what I'm saying is it's between the two signs. So I think that has something maybe to do why they're called fixed signs. And really, when you look at people that have a lot of influences in fixed signs, they are generally the ones that will stick with the people despite adversity, the ones that aren't generally going to forget about you. I think on average, it seems like the fixed signs, as far as their retention for remembering things, are often the ones that will remember those things, the significant events. They're more consistent and they could be very, I would say, reliable, dependable, and punctual. So somebody that has a fixed dominant chart may very well have these strong attributes emphasized. Now, the thing is too, it never hurts to have some mutable signs, some cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are about initiation, they're about starting things. And mutable signs, as most of you know, is about being pliable and adaptable. Now, somebody has majority of their influences in fixed signs. Even two mutable signs might help a little bit in terms of the adaptability and being able to see the other person's viewpoint a little bit more. Now, if we look at, and also, even if somebody was missing, let's say, the mutable element, they may have compensations as far as house positions, such as having some signs like in the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th houses. That would always help. And the fixed element is just a lot, I think, a lot of willpower and just the ability to get through things, and really without, I guess, without being deterred. They won't succumb to, as far as distractions, I would say. If you look at the fixed mentality too, somebody that has a lot of their influences in fixed signs will, I think, show that propensity to have things in a certain way, a certain order. Even if things in their home may be somewhat disheveled and out of place, they still often know right away where things are. They're very less likely to have significant changes in their lives. They're very, I have fairly good fixed energy in my chart. I also have 2 long fixed T-squares, and even though I have, I guess you could say, a somewhat mercurial Sun in Cancer, Moon in Gemini combination, I'm definitely more rigid and unwavering than your typical Cancer Gemini personality. So I haven't even moved out of the state I haven't even traveled out of the state I'm in for almost 21 years since I've been here. So that should tell you something. I also have Capricorn on the cusp of the 9th house, and the ruler of the 9th and the 12th house of restrictions. So that should tell you a little something about my nature. It's always important to factor the whole chart into consideration. And just because somebody has a strong dominant fixed chart, a preponderance of influences in fixed signs, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have no need for flexibility or adaptability. And everyone, not everyone, but majority of people are going to say have at least 2 mutable, or maybe even at least 3 mutable signs on house cusp in their chart, even if they were somebody that had a lot of fixity in their horoscope and had no mutable planets or no compensation by house position. If somebody were to say had a lot of fixed energy in their chart and they didn't have the any mutable influences and signs, or as far as the mutable or cadet houses, but let's say they had Gemini on the cusp of the 4th house, that could be somebody that could show adaptability and versatility around the home and being adaptable to many different things in terms of what they do as far as the home and family life goes, and someone that's being able to diversify. So this is somebody, as far as diversity in their home. So it's just about looking at the whole chart and about really not isolating any one thing. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for fixed signs dominant in the natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about cardinal signs dominant in the natal horoscope. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically, a person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.